So I'll start backwards, and I think one of the more challenging portions of the two modalities is really the enthusiasm portion. I usually bring a lot of enthusiasm in the classroom environment with my learners, and the first couple of times that I did a connected classroom or virtual environment setting, I found that I had to actually drive my enthusiasm a little bit more, so kind of heighten it. And it's easier for whatever reason in a classroom environment because maybe they're all here with me. They can feel that vibe, they can feel that energy with stuff. And I think on the virtual side of things, I found myself working a little bit harder. So a little more animated, a little more characteristic, a little more upbeat in tempo and stuff. And not that it shouldn't change in this environment, but I find myself working a little bit harder as far as some of the antics that I was doing and everything else, trying to keep learners engaged. And definitely going along with a portion of the similarities. Addressing each learner by name, making them feel like they're an actual participant and not just a group of people, I think goes a long way. But in the settings for this stuff, I have a pretty good background with regular classroom setting, ILT, and the connected classroom and virtual training. And I think both of the hand-in-hands or similarities go with building the trust and credibility. I think that's the foundation block. Building it early and making it easy to where whatever the classroom environment setting is, your learners feel like they're in a place that only they can actually benefit and learn from, but they're getting it from a person that actually cares and has something invested in them right when class starts. It's not something that was like, oh, you're only here for 4 days. After that, it's kind of to the wayside of things. Like, no, I have an investment in your success, and I want to see you do great things within this company to whatever it is that I'm happening to be developing you with. There's so many similarities between these two things as you talk about them. I definitely think the acumen and knowledge of whatever the context that you're teaching or developing has to be strong. And your learners can definitely sense that, whether it's virtual or if it's a regular classroom setting. So what you're bringing to the table, the more of the skill or the craft that you have, it's always easier when you can demonstrate that and talk about it, when you can answer questions relatively easy. But also, if you don't know one, don't blow smoke. Let them know, well, I don't actually know the answer to this question. Let me parking lot that. Let me get back to you. Or sometimes I like to pose it back to the learners. Hey, that's a great question. Does anyone else have a thought on this? And that way it constantly keeps things engaged. And I think that works out really well in the classroom and the virtual setting. It's constantly how to figure out a way to not only keep one participant actively concerned with a conversation or question, but bring everyone else into something that everyone can get into group discussion about. And I think that works out really well for both settings. We talked about, I talk about a lot of, in my classes, the portion of communicating effectively. I do a lot of technical training or development, so for my participants that come in, communicating and effectively is definitely something that's going to be part of their job on a daily basis. So I want them to be able to communicate effectively here, and I want them to see that there's someone actually they can communicate with on both sides of the coin. So I've been in the technical side, I've been in customers' houses, and now I'm actually developing those skills to help you talk to those customers now. So there are a lot of similarities. I think the differences that are there are quite a bit of differences between the two environments, but they can be overcome. It's not something that's impossible to do, but I think it takes just a little bit of drive, quite a bit of effort, and just a willingness to try. Thinking outside of the box and really telling yourself that you can do this because you already do it in a different setting. It's just trying to adapt to something new. That's what I got. Hope you like it.